what you teach, and then share your strategies, what you've taken away from this year that will help as we move into more face-to-face in the fall.
Sure. Let me just get my screen set up. Okay. Do you see the screen? All right. I have to do that every class I teach because it's happened before where I'm just going about something that they can't see. Okay, so I'm Sarah Manuel. I teach also in the psychology area. I teach social psychology, statistics, and general psychology. And so I'm going to talk about some of my lessons learned from this last year and things moving forward. All right. Okay, so I'm going to talk about five things, about like 5 lessons that I've learned this last year. So communication is key, technology is tricky, be prepared, it takes a village, and social distancing does not equal social isolation. Okay, so I'll go into more detail about all of these. So communication is key. This is something that I struggled with in the past. I'm not necessarily the best person to communicate via email or Canvas messages. And so, but communication is really important in online classes. And it's important to do it often, to get back to the students promptly, and to let the students know that you are there for them. They're not trying to bug you. And sometimes their emails even sound like they think they are, but I try to reassure them, you're not bothering me. I am here to help you. I am your professor. My job is to, communicate and help you. And so communication in online classes it's less organic than it is in face-to-face classes. And so you have to be more intentional about it. And also it lets the students be informed about the class. Kind of popping in and sending them an email or a message lets them remember that, oh, right, I'm in this class and I should check what we're doing. And use multiple means of communication if you can. So like written communication and videos. Students really like videos, it turns out, but short videos. So anything longer than like 5 minutes and they just stop watching. Communication, often mix it up the style that you're using, is really important in online classes. But you don't have to be on call all the time. So don't feel chained to your computer or your phone to be constantly answering student messages. Set limits for when you will respond to students and make those known to the students. So I, on my Canvas homepage and in my syllabus, say I will respond to messages between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. So if you email me after 6 p.m., I may not respond to you till the next day, and those are business hours or business days, by the way, Monday through Friday. If you email me at 8 p.m. on a Friday, I may not get back to you till Monday. So I let them know this so they have expectations about when I'm available for them, and I don't feel guilty and like I have to be constantly checking and responding. So for me, that kind of just helps like my stress level, where I don't have to be chained to that device constantly. And when you can, automate some communication. So schedule announcements in Canvas when it's appropriate. And you can set these to send to students at specific dates and times. So one of the things I've been doing this semester is like a weekly agenda announcement where I let them know this is what we're doing this week. This module's opening. We're going to be covering this stuff. You have these assignments. And I send it out as a scheduled announcement. So I prep it in advance and I just tell it to go off on a certain day. And to mix up, again, that communication, I've been doing both text and videos in those messages. And the screenshot was going to be too big, but there's text below that normally. And I also send them assignment reminders. So I do discussion board posts that have those 2 due dates where they have to post by Friday and then respond and then comment by another day. And they always forget to do the first post. So I set up weekly Friday reminders to go off and say, hey, you have to submit your discussion board posts today, don't forget. And those just go off. I don't have to pay attention to them. I don't have to worry about forgetting because I already have them set up. And if you do need to edit it, you can before it sends. So this is something that has helped me keep that communication with students, but take some of the load off me. And another thing that I've been doing is sending students reminders about turning in coursework. So I know we want them to be responsible and be on top of things, but sometimes they're not. And sometimes we aren't either. So I have been using that feature in Canvas, the Message Students Who feature in Canvas Gradebook. And I refer to them as friendly reminders about maybe, an exam that's due tomorrow or an important assignment that they haven't turned in yet or missing homework. I allow students to turn in homework up to 24 hours after the due date with a late penalty. And so I email them the day after everything's due. And if I see they didn't turn in stuff for the week, I send them that friendly reminder. Hey, you didn't turn anything in. You can still turn in today. You get some points off, but it counts. And they really appreciate that. I get messages back from them and they say, oh, thank you for the reminder. I totally slipped my mind. I'm going to get it in now. And so they really appreciate you reminding them about assignments. They don't see it as you bugging them. And what's kind of the cool thing about this feature is it goes to their Canvas inbox. So it looks personalized to them. Don't use their names because then it'll be a little weird. But it looks like you have sent them a message. You as the professor singled them out because you care that they didn't turn something in. And so this is a nice way that students feel like the communication is personalized. It's not just an announcement being sent out to everyone. Okay, technology is tricky. You don't have to be a tech genius to teach online. It's okay if you don't know what you're doing. Leverage the skills you already have. Leverage what you know. Use the tools that you are comfortable with and don't burn out trying to learn every new teaching tool. I've learned about Canvas, Studio, Design Tools, Zoom, Flipgrid, Discard, and a whole host of other things this last year. And I've decided I'm only going to use what I know and what I'm comfortable with. I like the idea of Proctorio, but I'm not sure how it works, and so I haven't tried it yet. There are just things that are out there that might be helpful, but if it's feeling overwhelming, just use what you know and use what you're comfortable with, and you can add those new things when you have time, when you've practiced it a little bit, and when you feel ready. And also, technology doesn't always work. It just doesn't. For whatever reason, it sometimes fails, and just take a deep breath. It's not your fault. It's not your fault when it doesn't work. And I think it helps to be honest with students. Be like, you know what? This isn't working right now. We'll figure it out later. I'm sorry. They understand that you're trying. And so being honest with them when the technology fails, I think can help. And when it does fail, visit academic technology office hours. I popped in there this semester and been like, I'm trying to do this thing. I can't figure it out. And I've gotten help within 10, it takes us 10 minutes to figure it out and then I'm set. So what would have been maybe an hour or so of me Googling and struggling gets resolved really fast. And so use those academic technology office hours. Thank you all for having those. And remember that students aren't as tech savvy as we think they are. And don't assume that they just know how to use all the technology, because they don't. They might be really good with their phones, but they're not necessarily good with Canvas. They just, and they might not just figure it out either. They have different levels of technology familiarity, just like we all do. And so they're learning how to use it too. Be patient with technology, with yourself, and with your students. Okay, and then be prepared. Teaching online is more work than it seems. It's not just throwing up some videos, based on stuff you taught in person before. Teaching online is really front-loaded, meaning there's a lot of preparation in the beginning. So do as much as you can before the semester starts or during that slow period in the beginning of the semester. Create all your modules and get your content in there. Set up your assignment due dates. And I can't stress this enough. If you are recording video lectures, do those in advance, because it is such a drain to have to do that week by week by week. Record it, edit them if you need, do the transcripts. All of that stuff takes time. And we underestimate that it takes more time to do that than it would to just go into the classroom and teach that lecture face to face. Those videos take more time than they would in person. And so prepare those if you can in advance. And it's important to have a plan, be prepared, but also be flexible. as I said, things don't always work. So be okay with changing up things, meeting outside office hours, or extending due dates when it makes sense to. Okay, be prepared, but you also don't have to be perfect. One thing I've really embraced this semester is just having things be good enough. Having the Canvas be just, it's fine. Like it's not perfect, but it's fine. And you know what? Students don't notice anything less than good enough. They don't know what a perfect Canvas course looks like, so yours is probably perfect to them. It's fine. It's okay. And just accept that your course will have mistakes. There will be typos. You'll accidentally not publish something. You'll have a missing due date, whatever. Accept those mistakes with humility. It's okay. We're all human. And the students will understand. Again, be honest with them. I forgot to publish the module. I'm sorry. Here you go. They're okay with it. And it makes you seem human. Okay. It takes a village. Connect students with resources and services like the library, counseling, writing center, tutoring center, so on, so that you help them be part of a community instead of just a student in a class. There's all this stuff happening virtually from the campus, and they might not know about it. So recommend those services early and often. They don't know what's happening because they're not there anymore. So what I've been doing is sending weekly like newsletter announcements or kind of do like a roundup of all the updates, important dates, events, resources, things happening at BC. And I send them out as kind of like a weekly roundup with links and you know, dates and things so that students can learn what's happening on campus, even if they're not on campus. And I've gotten some really good feedback about this. One student told me that she's learned more about BC from my class than she has like just being a BC student, because they get all the same emails we get about those events happening or those important dates, but they don't always read them or they don't remember them. So I just do it once a week and I'm like, hey, here's some events happening. Here's some due dates. You know, if you're here applying for graduation, get that in, you know, and they seem to respond really well to that. Okay. Social distancing is not or does not mean social isolation. So online courses can feel really isolated. We're all at home in our little bubbles, right? And for this is isolating for students and instructors. So try to encourage meaningful interaction with your students when you can, but with you and with them, with each other. Create opportunities to just chat. So not graded things, just time to just sit, like to just hang out. And I've been doing this before and after my Zoom classes and with me there, and we just kind of chat, what's going on this week? What'd you do this weekend? Who's graduating? What are your plans? And then doing some Zoom breakout rooms. So I let them work on their homework together in Zoom breakout rooms, and I'm not a part of. They can use the ask for help feature, but they end up just talking to each other about the class and other things. So they are making those connections with each other in a low pressure situation. Other things you can do are like have coffee hours, Discord servers, ungraded discussion board posts, and other things. But understand that not all students want to participate in these things, and that's okay. They might be burned out on Zoom, they might be tired, they might have things going on, and it doesn't mean anything against you. It's not that they don't like you, it's just that they aren't in the mood to participate in something like this right now. Okay, and I think this is my last one. Show off your personality. So this is an image from my welcome video for my courses. So it's me and my dog because like half of my personality is just being obsessed with my dog. So let the students get to know you. They want to know you and let them know there's a real person behind the screen. You don't have to be like the big scary professor. They want to feel like you are a human. Yes, this is Mr. Wiggles, as Christy said in the chat. And it makes them feel safe to show off their personality too, to get kind of silly, right? And be a bit more personal. Okay, and that is the end of my lessons learned.
Sarah, thank you so much. That was awesome. And if anybody does have pets, they are really like just gold for building relationships with students. Like it's almost worth getting a pet just for that. But anyway, Mr. Wiggles. Okay, so anybody have any questions for Sarah about all the brilliant things she had to share?
No questions, but I definitely love how you did that breakdown of the newsletter, really like bridging their experience from in the class to also reminding them of those things that are going on, because you're right, it's so hard to get them, to read the information that they're flooded with from emails with lists and lists of dates and information. So I think that's amazing. Kudos. Good job.
Thank you.
Sarah, I do the same thing. And so many students have said, why don't they send us this emails? I never get this email from BC. I'm like, you get it. I'm copying BC's email and pasting it into Canvas. They're like, oh, that other email, I don't even open it. I'm like, okay, that's why it's in Canvas now.
It started because I think I was saying something about some event happening, and I was like, yeah, did anyone hear about this? Anyone planning on going? And it was just crickets. And they're like, what? And it's like, we all got the email. And they're like, ah.
Sarah, I love the idea of your coffee hours and the homework on Zoom, the study groups, kind of letting them do their own thing and build community. I was just curious, you mentioned that not all students are interested. Like, on your experience, what's the rate that you think that actually participates on those things?
It's okay. It depends. So when I was doing synchronous Zoom courses in the fall, I had a lot higher, I would say around 40%. So, which sounds low, but but now that I'm doing asynchronous Zoom classes where they're optional for them to attend, I think it's more about like 10%.
Well, but
So
yeah, it's still nice.
dropped.
It's still nice because it provides opportunity for those who want. That's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and for my stats class, it's really helpful for them because you get stuck on a homework problem and they feel like they don't have anyone to turn to but me. So it's nice that they can come weekly and talk to each other.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And I can see a lot of those strategies helping us as we teach more face-to-face courses as well, front loading a lot of that work, building out that consistent Canvas course, programming those announcements, sending message students who, all of that is a really great way to keep communicating with students, because it's, sometimes it can seem like we don't need to do that as much in face-to-face, but it's so powerful. And if we can take that and add it to face-to-face, then it's just, takes it exponentially. Any other last minute questions before we go on to Alicia? All right, well, Sarah, thank you so much. And Alicia, it's your turn. Take it away.